So today we're going to talk about how to use and clean the church's griddle, which you see here. Some of the items that you're going to need: you'll need a washcloth, which we'll get to later, possibly any of the spatulas there, and then most importantly a piece of pumice, which is up here, usually kept on top of the stove, and if not, just turn right around and there's extra pumice stored down in these cabinet doors down here. So to begin with, what you'll want to do is remove this back shield here. It just slides up and off, and take it over to the sink and wash it out. A lot of times it'll be, have a little food scraps and whatnot, so just wash out both sides, front and back. Make sure it's all nice and clean, dry it off, and then just lay it on the table there till later, till you're all done. One thing about this griddle, it does have a pilot light, so it stays fairly hot to the touch. It's hot there, and if you are going to use it to do eggs or pancakes or whatever, it takes a good 20, maybe even 30 minutes to come up to heat and get the whole griddle at a hot temperature and the heat evenly spread across the whole griddle. So make sure you allow plenty of time for the griddle to warm up and get up to temperature before you start trying to cook anything on it. The big thing most people have after they're done and they want to clean up is they want to use one of these bad boys to scrape off the griddle. That's certainly fine for getting off the large chunks of food that are on there and doing a first level cut on cleaning off the stuff, but don't use it to do any deep kind of scraping to think you're going to clean it. That's evident here. You can see all these streaks on the griddle top. Whoever last used it, just used one of those spatulas to scrape it off. What you want to do is use this pumice stone. Now the pumice will start out looking clean and neat. This side over here, you can see where the pumice has started to gunk up with whatever it scraped off the griddle last time this was used. Once it gets caked up like that, it is not very effective in cleaning anymore, and you'll need to take this over the trash can. And I can't do this with two hands, but just scrape at a shallow angle, just scratch off the top layer of pumice into the garbage can, and until that caked on stuff is gone, and then you can start cleaning again. As far as whether or not the griddle is wet or dry when you do it, we're going to do a little test here and see how it works. Basically, all you want to do is, with some firm pressure, rub back and forth one direction, and then later come back and do it in another direction, and just keep doing that. It takes about 5 or 10 minutes to get it pretty well clean. If you have a good sharp edge on your pumice stone, you can use that right in the corners. Make sure you get those corners cleaned out also, as well as the back. You can press up against this back rim here, clean that off, and the other side too. So just keep it up. I will rejoin you here in a few minutes after I've done some of the work here, and we'll see how it looks. Back here, it took me about, 4 or 5 minutes, and you can see the difference between the side that I cleaned and the side that wasn't cleaned. And it looks a whole lot better. It actually looks a little, reflective and not so forth. I got into the corners pretty good. But you can see as a result of this that you're going to wind up with a lot of this pumice stone granules just sitting around. So what you'll want to do is take your washcloth, wet it real good, squeeze it out a little bit, and so it's good and damp. Now if the griddle is hot, you're going to have to be careful because the washcloth is going to heat up real fast. You don't want to burn your fingers. But anyway, just wipe it up, be real thorough. You don't want to leave anybody pumice stone in their food, whoever comes along behind you. Go ahead and finish up the griddle here. So I will be back in about 5 minutes and we'll see how it looks. Okay, I'm back again, and you can see the griddle is looking pretty nice now all the way across. I still have all that pumice dust I have to clean up. But anyway, I wanted you to see that's what it looks like. I will say that when I'm using the pumice, I use 2 hands on the pumice and pushing down pretty good. So you put some weight into it to really get in there and clean that gunk out of the griddle. As far as scraping it off, I just came over here with a pumice stone, and using this spatula, it does a good job just scraping off the part of the pumice stone that's clogged up. Don't worry about doing a real neat job. As you can see in my work here, it comes out kind of jagged, crooked, but that's to be expected, and it works all right. Just don't gouge it too badly. All you're doing is creating high spots, and those will gunk up first. But it'll work just fine that way. So anyway, I'm going to clean this up, wipe it off, get all the pumice stone off, and we'll see what it looks like then. Okay, I'm back again, and as you can see, griddle's looking pretty good. Cleaned off real nice. I wiped it down several times with that wet washcloth, rinsing it frequently, shaking it out in the garbage can to get all that pumice stone dust. And now I'll just put the backsplash back in place. I washed it good in the sink, and it's now back in place, ready for use. And the last thing to do is to reach under here and pull out the grease trap. And as you can see, it is looking kind of nasty. So we'll take a quick scrub on that, get that degreased and back in place. Yep, I'll join you in a minute. Okay, so what I used was this, I guess it's a 2-inch spatula, and you can just use this to get down in there and scrape out all the grease. Make sure that you throw the grease into the garbage can and don't wash it down the sink. We don't have a grease trap down there to safely catch the grease. But once it's been cleaned out, and it does look nasty on the camera here, but it's about as clean as it's going to get. Put it back in place and take one last look around, make sure everything is looking all right. Wash your utensils up and leave the griddle looking nice for the next group that's going to use it. The thing I forgot to mention was when you're cleaning it, make sure you take a soapy scrubber and scrub the backsplash area up here and clean off the top of the shelf here, make sure it's clean. And a lot of times the stuff just settles on it, not that you're cooking out there, but it gets grimy and dirty. So just to leave the griddle looking nice, make sure you clean that down too. So with that, I hope you enjoy your meal and look forward to seeing clean griddles around the church. Thank you so much.